Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of our Success Series brought to you by SME Advisor. I'm going to take these off because they're glaring for me. I am here today with a very different purpose of starting this event. Normally, I've come into these events and I've always been the one there, the MC, introducing everyone. I'm the one sitting in the desk behind, trying to make certain that all the presentations run correctly. And I have someone to blame for this position. That's my co-founder, Nadeem Hood. Where are you? There. He's waving. So he spoke to me a week ago, and he told me, I want you to present. My reaction? Hell no! I'm not doing that. His second, he said, Gina, I want you to present, and I want you to talk slowly. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a bullet train. I speak 100 words a minute. I can rap better than Eminem. I can actually speak louder and faster than all of you put together in this room. So slowly is going to be a task, but I'm going to try. But it was the third thing he told me that made me reevaluate my position. He told me, I want you to be you. I want you to get real. And I want you to talk from your heart. Now, we're in media. We don't talk from our heart. We tend to put up conferences and we all look pretty and everything's fantastic. It's the selfie culture. I'm happy, you're happy, cash flow, we've got tons of it. The world is great, the economy is wonderful, politics, oh my God, we love the West. It's a culture where we promote happy all the time. And I found this out because I went onto Google and I decided to Google search workplace, images. Do you know what you find? Very happy people. You find images of everyone shaking hands and contracts and signing business deals. And you have to put in angry workplace, frustrated workplace, to find people who are actually angry. Oh, it's real. I went onto my LinkedIn and realized that every 4 posts is someone hiring. I was telling this to someone earlier. I decided to test it out. I went to 56 different people, 56. And I applied for a position. I just wanted to check if they would come back and look at my profile. They didn't. They didn't even look at my profile. 56 applications. They didn't even look at who I was. So why were they advertising? I went onto my Facebook and realized that everyone, including my mother and her dog, is extremely happy. And yet, we put out a survey to all of our SMEs, and that's how we came up with a conversation today about cash flow, because everyone was telling us the real problem today is that the economy is crap. If I get deported for this, UAE government, I was born here, I love you guys, but I'm going to state the truth. I promised I would. Everyone's in speculation, everyone is struggling, everyone's having a hard time, and when you look at that conversation, no one actually gets real about the conversation. So I decided to get real. So when I decided to get real, I decided that I needed to have a conversation for you guys that had to deal with cash flow, cost management, or change. It's such a sexy topic, right? Cash flow, cost management, and change. I can't believe all of you actually turned up for a conversation like this. Y'all are mad. Y'all spent Thursday coming in to a conversation on cash flow. So did I. So to make the conversation a little more interesting, I thought, let me start off with words from a gentleman I love called Elvis Presley. I changed it. A little less jargon, a little more action, please. And let me tell you why. I come from a history of realizing that lots of people talk lots of crap. I said the word again. It's a good thing I don't use the other words I use in meetings. A lot of crap about how workplaces should be, how things should be, win-win, synergies. You know, let's take it to the top. Let's find a way to effectively work together. And what I've realized along the way is nobody is giving me a to-do list. Nobody is telling me what to do or how to do it. In fact, I remember once I had a conversation with a boss of mine who landed up telling me, Gina, I need you to be more proactive. I said, okay. With regards to what? Like, no, generally. I need you to be proactive. Like, so do you want me to come in early, get you coffee, shine your shoes? Or do you want me to make your presentations? What do you want me to do? Tell me my to-do list so that our expectations are met. And I realized in workplaces we don't do that. Lots of mumbo-jumbo. And that is where I want to start off today's conversation as to why you are here and why I am here. This day started off with the survey. As I mentioned to you, 67% of our SMEs came back to us and told us cash flow was the number one conversation. Another 13%, the second highest, talked about change. The rest of them were sending us a CV. But those are the two big conversations. Cost management, we threw in there for fun. Why are you here? We asked very, very humbling questions over the past 4 weeks. And we found some amazing individuals who are going to share the stage with me today to address those questions. So I'm going to start off the reality check going, when I look at my cash flow, I want to pull my intestines out, shove them through my ears, slit my wrists, sell my kidney. As a bonus, give away my arm and my leg. And just for the benefit of it, I'll give you 4 of my toes. That's how cash flow makes me feel. I can't imagine the state of any of you is any different. We're entrepreneurs. We wake up, it's the first and the last thing on our minds. So let's address the conversation today with a reality check. You're not here because you looked at that tagline and thought, yeah, that's a sexy conversation. I'm just going to turn up and have some fun. You did not think you were going to come here and someone was going to miraculously hand you a little book, a little black book, and you were going to have every solution, and you're going to walk out and $1 million is going to be sitting in your bank account. You came here because you were hoping that one of all the people speaking up here today were going to give you some idea, some inclination, some hope that you could look at something differently. So today I'm going to ask you to communicate. I'm not asking you to take out your business card and go to the next person and try to make business happen. I'm asking you to talk to each other and find out how you can each find a way. Maybe you did it better. I have cash flow ideas that I have tried on my own business. Maybe you have. Maybe we can trade that information. Maybe we've both been through something we can actually talk about. And to put my money where my mouth is, that would be a lot of money. But to put my money where my mouth is, I can tell you that every person coming up here today is not somebody I reached out to because they were uberly famous. They are. Not because they were uberly qualified. They are. But they are people who have turned into friends. People who I reach out to because they can humbly tell me to my face, straight out, what I'm doing right or wrong. Every single person who comes up here today is approachable. So I'm not asking you for a Q&A session. You will not get one. Because Q&As means there's 3 of you with extremely long arms, or sitting in the first 4 tables, who will get a chance to respond or ask a question. I'm asking you to go onto these people's LinkedIn profiles and connect with them. If you cannot reach them, reach out to me, ask me the question, and I promise you, I will get you an answer. People today who are going to share the stage with me is the likes of Mr. Ralph Khoury from TBWA. I adore him. From the first time we met a couple of years ago, it was instant conversation. A realist at heart. You're going to meet the likes of George, celebrated his birthday 2 days ago, so all of you should clap when he comes on stage. He's going to be highly embarrassed I said that. Mr. Aditya Sarna, who had a baby boy yesterday. Congratulations, Aditya. You know I was going to do this, right? What I'm trying to tell you is this. Get to know who you're talking to. Talk to them. Have a conversation. And that is where I'm going to move to the next part. To prove to you, I did it. That was my LinkedIn post that got 12,000 views when I was looking for a speaker. Maybe several of them were looking for a job, I'll be honest. But I never followed protocol. Protocol means I was supposed to put out a wonderful post that said, looking for speakers, send us a paper, we would like to validate you. Jargon, jargon, jargon. Instead, I said, can you recommend someone in the numbers game who can articulate blah, blah, blah? I'm looking someone with personality, someone who's sexy with numbers. So first thing, everyone up here today is very sexy with numbers. This is to prove to you that it's not about who you know. It's about having the guts to reach out to someone who does. That's what communication is. But what gives me the right to talk about this? This was the prettiest picture I could find. And I'm an accountant too. So I don't stand here making claims about cash flow because I read it and it was the most trending article on LinkedIn. I stand here because I trained in this. I was fascinated with numbers ever since I was 5. I decided to buy soap and sell it back to my parents because I could make 25 fills a soap bar. I have been fascinated my whole life. In fact, in university, my only version of trying to be cool was I had to learn to play the drums to one song of Guns N' Roses so that I could actually be cool, because I was part of the math club. I was the geek. When you look at that, what makes numbers so important? I came up with 2 lines. One was, numbers don't lie, people do. Interpretation is based on the interpreter. So when you look at numbers, and I could sit for 15 hours looking at numbers and I'm in heaven. Don't send me to a spa, send me with numbers. What I realized was sometimes in the game, as an accountant, I was trained to report. I was trained to turn around and tell my boss, you're dying, you have no money, you're in the red. Or I was trained to turn around and tell him, you have money, but it'll not last. I was almost trained to be negative. I can blatantly tell you, when I looked at numbers, I was trained to be negative. I remember when I went into the working world, I had this beautiful vision of what working world would be, that I would be walking out glamorously in cars and people would be listening to me in big shiny buildings. None of that happened. This facade never happened. Happy moments never happened. What I realized along the way was a lot of jargon. I would sit into conversations that would go and tell me about words like, you need to be proactive, you need to win, you need to try for results. And all along the way, from being in the corporate world for about 16 years, to being an entrepreneur, don't ask me my age, I'll ask you your income, I realized that this is what fuels our day. I can describe this slightly better with a video I'm about to show you. And the reason this video is important is because I can guarantee after the video, every single one of you has gone through it higher than 50% in your workplace. Anyone who's gone through it lesser than 50%, I need to talk to you and I need to work for you.
All right. Let's play hardball.
So how are we going to position ourselves?
Let's hit the ground running.
Let's hammer this out.
Let's get our ducks in a row here, guys.
All right, here's the 30,000-foot view.
Let's drill that down.
I'll beef it up.
Can you put a deck together?
Look, I'll do most of the heavy lifting.
Okay, I'll put my feelers out.
Can you send me the dial-in?
What's the dial-in?
Hey, Lauren, what's the dial-in?
I just pinged her.
Somebody ping Carl.
Loop me in on that.
Loop me in on that, will you?
Can you guys loop me in on that?
So what space are you guys in?
Is this B2B?
We're B2C.
Is it C2C?
We're B2C to B.
We're B2C to B, but back to C, sort of. Sometimes A.
We're a brick and mortar.
We're soup to nuts.
Okay, let's ideate.
So what's their value proposition?
What platform are you using?
Who did their UI?
They're UX.
CSS.
IP.
ICUP.
She's C-level.
She's an acqui-hire.
A serial entrepreneur.
A disruptor.
A total disruptor.
That dude is a coding ninja. This new app is cutting edge.
Leading edge.
Seamless.
End to end.
Game changing.
Disruptive.
World class.
Freemium.
It's pretty much the Uber of food trucks.
It's the Uber of dry cleaning.
It's like the Uber of tax auditing.
It's like the Uber of taxis.
What are the deliverables?
Are those baked in?
Are those included in our best practices?
Is that actionable?
I'm gonna have to marinate on that.
I'm not willing to die on that hill.
I'm worried about the unknown unknowns.
I'm worried about the known knowns. What's our launch date?
Do we have a drop dead date?
It's gonna be 11th hour.
It is O-Dark 30.
Look, we need more wiggle room.
All right. We'll have to do it on the cheap.
Now, is that gross?
Is that net?
Is that gross or net?
Is that net?
That's net?
Can you unpack that?
What's your guesstimate?
That dovetails perfectly into my idea.
I hope I made a point. You've all been in meetings, right? How much time in a day do you spend in meetings that come out without one actionable point? How many times have you been in meetings, conferences, where you've sat here taking time out of your day to commit, and you have not got one iota, one line that you will remember on Friday morning? That is what we're hoping to change today. We're not inventing new jargon. So I'm going to make a request 2 ways. I'm going to make a request to my fantastic speakers. You are going to present, and I've seen your presentations, and they're amazing. I'm asking you at the end of your presentation to give 1 point to the audience, one actionable point that they can walk away with and they can implement, and it is strategic and driven. Everyone in this room, considering I'm not allowing you to actually indulge in a Q&A, I'm asking you to interact. Interact with each other, interact with us, interact with the speakers. And if you cannot do that, go onto social media. Make it live. Ask me a question on social media. By virtue of you asking me on social media, I have to respond to you. I will find an answer. If we can interact and ask hard-hitting questions, we will find answers. That's all we can do. We know times are tough. So getting to the point today, I'll give you one last example before I actually close out on this, is I'll prove it to you all the way up in politics. John F. Kennedy made a mission statement, and I'm going to read it to you. I need to get closer because I don't have my glasses on. I'm slightly blind. Our mission is to become the international leader in the space industry through maximum team-centered innovation, strategically targeted aerospace initiatives. All of you are his team. What does he want you to do? Anyone? Because I had no clue. I looked at this and I was like, wow, this is as good as my ex-boss. No clue. So what did JFK actually say? It was so simple. He wanted to put a man on the moon and bring him back alive in the decade. Would you not be able to, if all of you were his team, understand this? That is the communication we are missing in this day and age. So it's time to get real. This is what my co-partner told me. He said, I need you to get real. I need you to say what you think. I think times are tough. I think this market is tough. I think this country is tough. And everyone looks at us from the outside. I have friends who call me the entrepreneur, as if I have a special status. And because they know I have an accounting background, they're like, oh my God, you must be sorted. You must be doing so well because I take zero risk. How can I be doing well as an entrepreneur? But nobody wants to know the details. I bet nobody in your company wants to know the details. So if you're in the accounting field, please reach out to your bosses, reach out to your partners, reach out to your CEOs, and explain to them the possibilities of what that red number at the end of their balance sheet looks like and what it can do. If you are the CEO and owner of a company, I know numbers are ugly. Most people tell me that. My husband wants to divorce me every time I talk about numbers. To me, it's sexy, but need you to look at the potential of those numbers. And that's why you'll have people like Binod today who are going to talk about the basics. The insanity of looking at your revenue, the pride you look at your revenue with and you go, oh my God, I'm making lots of money. But if you don't have money to pay people, making money on a piece of paper is worthless. So getting real today is the biggest conversation. Second part, communicating to each other, to all of us. If you've taken time to come here, please, I beg you, do not sit and listen. Write down a question. You have Ralph coming up next. You have a question for Ralph? Get onto LinkedIn and reach out to him. Write to me and ask me the question. Get your answer from the person you have communicated today. Communication, I've stressed this enough. Keeping it simple. Forget the jargon. I'm not standing here and telling you you're going to win today, this is going to be amazing, you're going to have lots of takeaways. No. Let's see, at the end of today, if I ask you one question, did you get one thing that your business can be better off with? And you say yes, my job is done. At the end of this, considering there are lots of speakers, and you're not going to remember me, and you're not going to remember most of what I said, I'm going to give you my last slide, which will go viral. We're live on Facebook at the moment. It's the only thing people care about these days. Right? Okay, that didn't even work. Man, I thought that was a good joke. All right, thanks everyone. I hope you have a fantastic day. And any questions, you will find me in the room. See ya.